Hi everyone, this is Sharon. I am very glad to be back after a little bit of a break this December. And I'm here today to share with you my December design team project for Luise Heinzl. And what I ended up doing was making two journals actually, because I had just enough to make two covers from this quilt remnant that I purchased in a fabric bundle that I got from Uniquely Ella. And what I did was make one signature journals, and I stitched them into the quilt fabric, and I tied them up with some trims remnants that I had. And so they're very similar. The pages are very similar. The ephemera is a little bit different. So I'll step through both of them. Start with this one first. When I was thinking about what to do for my December project, I was already into December and didn't want to do another Christmas journal. So I thought, in looking through some of Luisa's kits, came across her vintage coffee junk journal pages. And I thought, quilts and coffee. That reminds me of a cozy winter day by the fire. So that's what I ended up using. So if we go on the inside, this fabric is a beautiful cotton fabric that was in that same fabric bundle, and I used that for the inside cover. And then what I paired the vintage coffee junk journal page kit with from Luisa is her yellow dyed journal background pages. And these, oh my gosh, I am just so in love with them. The colors in these pages are just beautiful, pinks and golds and really deep blues. I love them. I will definitely be using those more going forward. So the first page, I created this little tuck and stitched that down, and then also adhered it down with some washi tape. And then I had a piece of vintage currency that I picked up. I think it was at an antique mall. Here I did a little stamping. I included some ledger paper that is coffee dyed and avocado dyed. And then here on the top, did a little embossing on that paper with some paste. Actually, it's stenciling with paste. And then layered that up a little bit. And then here's a page from the coffee kit. And because it was designed for US letter size, I had to shrink it down to fit this tall, narrow journal. And what I did then was just print it alongside some lace digitals that I had as well. And I did that on each of the pages just to cover up the white space on the top and the bottom. Here's another page from the Eco Dyed kit. Here I created a tab with a book spine, stitched that on with some linen and a button. And then I did a little bit of layering on there. Here I created a paper ruffle and adhered that to some decorative paper. Here I created a tag from an old, I think it's a lotto card. Then on the back I added a little pocket, and then I've got a vintage tea card in there. And I also did some stamping on that page. One of my favorite Mackie stamps. Another page from the coffee kit. On this page, I clipped in a little journaling space. It's kind of like an envelope that I made out of the ledger paper. That's the back side. This is some stamping on the top of that page. This is an old greeting card that I found in a drawer when I was cleaning the other day, so I thought I'd stick that in here. And I backed that with some digital wallpaper, and that pairs really nicely with this Eco Dyed page. Some collaging on here that I stitched on, and that flips open. So there's a lot of journaling space in these two journals. I left them, you know, fairly simple. I mean, there's a certain amount of embellishing in there, but a lot of writing space. That's another page from the coffee kit. Just so beautiful. I love the colors in there, just very muted browns and greens and reds. Here I did some stenciling with paste, and then I created a belly band and inserted this journaling card. And on this side I created a double pocket so you can tuck in the back there, and then this is fabric, and there's another pocket in the front. And I have this tag or bookmark, and then that is all stitched to this vintage music paper. Here I added a fabric ruffle, and in this pocket I created another tag with some book remnants on the top. And this tag was actually made from an old, it was a travel brochure for the Swiss Alps. I couldn't find a date on it. I think I used that piece of it already, but it has a big map on one side and then just some information on the other, and I love the script on there. This is another page from the coffee kit. In this page, I created a little side tuck, graph paper on there, and then this is an antique piece of French ephemera, and I do not see a date on it, but it looks to be pretty old, probably 1800s. You can tell by the paper. Page from the coffee kit. And then here on the top, I created a tuck with this border. And then this is some of my coffee dye paper. Goes with the coffee theme. And then this is some wallpaper digital, and then some script on the inside here, and then in the middle I added these stamps to the bottom of the strings. And then here's that border that comes across, and in there I tucked this journaling card. And then here I've got a little journaling spot that I made from an old calendar, or it was actually like a what do you want to say, address book, I think is what it was from. And then here again on the other side of that music paper, I've got a pocket and then another one in the front with the fabric, and then I have this little tag and some more of that stenciling with the paste. Here I punched the edge of this and just added a little bit of wool fabric for the tab. Here I've got this flip out, the bird on the back. And on this page, I made a journaling card with some piano paper, and I backed that with straw paper, and then I've got some trim on this side, but there's a good amount of space to write in there. And then on this side, I'll take that off. This actually flips out, more of that eco-dyed paper. And then in this narrow pocket, I made a narrow tag. Some more of that stenciling. And in the back, I created a pocket with this, I don't know, it's kind of like a straw paper, but it's got wire running through it. And then in there, I tuck this, if I can figure out which string I have to pull, I think it's this one. It's just a little notebook of sorts that I made. So I added some decorative paper, and the back is actually made out of a flash card. And then that opens up, and then inside got some scrap papers, some decorative fabric there, paper there. And that brings us to the back side. So that is that one. And the second one, hopefully I can flip through a little bit faster, but it's very similar, but obviously would have some different ephemera in it. Tag and a journaling card. Little piece of a doily, crocheted doily. And then here, again, I made a tab from some of that linen, an old vintage ticket and a button, and then a lot of places to write in there. And here's a journaling card I added. And this is also stenciled with some paste. I mix it with acrylic paint so I can get some pretty colors with it. Another greeting card from that set that I had, and then backed it with some wallpaper digitals. And then on this page, I've got some trim there, and this is clipped over the page. And this card is again made from that brochure for the Swiss Alps. This is an old book page. I just really love the book plate on the inside. It says K. Drake, February 1960. I added a little fabric ruffle and some trims on there. And the inside I created a pocket and added some French ephemera on there. Tag and a vintage tea card in there. This is a piece of old French ephemera. I love the blue and how it goes with that page. And again, I don't have a date, but it looks, this one is probably, I'm going to guess, early 1900s. Looks like a receipt of some sort. On this page, I made a fabric flip, and I added some paper trims and stitched on some other pieces of fabric. And then in there I tucked, I made a journaling card from a vintage or old piece of envelope that I coffee dyed. Just added a little embellishing on there. Nice place to journal. This is coffee dyed paper. And then again, another one of those flips and another piece of an envelope for writing on. Here is a little notebook like the other one. I won't open this one. It's very similar, made from a flashcard. And this flips out similar to the other one. The narrow tag in there. Did some collaging on here, and that flips open, and I put this little ball pin on there to remind me to put a charm on, so I will be doing that. And then here I clipped, this is actually a tag that was in that fabric bundle that I bought from Uniquely Ella that had the fabric and the quilt in, and she stitched a beautiful piece of lace onto this tag. And there's a key and another little tag on there. Really liked it. I thought it should go along with the fabrics. Here I've got a floating pocket, and I made it by combining two library cards. I stitched them together and then brought the one up to create a pocket. Stitch down the side, add a little fabric ruffle. Then I've got these, I like to call them tongue depressor tags. They're really narrow, but I like these. We can write a little quote or just a little sentence or something on the back of those. And then in this pocket, I created a journaling card, again with a page from that address book. And then in here, I tucked another piece of that vintage Asian currency. I don't even know what country it's from, but maybe somebody knows. And that's the back side of that one. So thank you all so much for coming along with me today. I'm so glad to be back making journals again. Right now I'm working on stash, what do you call it? Stash busting. Yep, that's what I'm doing. I am creating a whole bunch of little notebooks with my cinch and just using up all my scraps. So that'll be a fun little project that I can work on the next couple days. And after that, I'm not really sure, but hopefully I'll be back soon. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.